श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। रुक्मिणी Chant from 11 onwards. शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
स्थिरमासनमात्मनः
स्थिरमासनमात्मनः
नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं
नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं
शैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम्
शैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम्
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः
यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात्
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात्
योगमात्मविशुद्धये
योगमात्मविशुद्धये
समं कायशिरो ग्रीवम्
समं कायशिरो ग्रीवम्
धारयन्नचलन् स्थिरः
धारयन्नचलन् स्थिरः
सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वम्
सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं
दिशश्चानवलोकयन्
दिशश्चानवलोकयन्
प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभीः
प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभीः
ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः
ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः
मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः
मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः
युक्त आसीत मत्परः
युक्त आसीत मत्परः
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं
योगी नियतमानसः
योगी नियतमानसः
शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां
शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां
मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति
मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति
नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति
नात्यश्रतस्तु योगोऽस्ति
न चैकान्तमनश्नतः
न चैकान्तमनश्रतः
न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य
न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य
जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन
जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन
Today we have to do this 17 युक्ताहार विहारस्य
युक्ताहारविहारस्य
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
योगो भवति दुःखः
योगो भवति दुःखः
युक्ताहार विहारस्य
युक्ताहारविहारस्य
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
योगो भवति दुःखः
योगो भवति दुःखः
So shloka number 16, he was talking about again bahiranga sadhana. Remember bahiranga sadhanam and antaranga sadhanam. Bahiranga means sadhanam means general disciplines that we follow throughout our life. Antaranga sadhanam more specific to dhyana. So, being seated in a particular posture, particular asana, and then closing the eyes in a particular form, etc. All those are specific to meditation, obviously, dhyana. So in 16, he talked about food habits, that is bahiranga sadhanam, and then sleeping habits. And then 17, again, he is talking about many activities. He's going to say yuktahara viharasya. So yuktahara, and then yukta vihara, then yukta cheshtaha, and then yukta swapnaha, then yukta avabodhaha. Okay, these four words he is using for the person who is going to do dhyana. Okay, for the dhyata. So the word yukta appears 3 times here. Okay, so yuktahara. So ahara means food, and yukta means what? Food yukta. So one who does yoga of food, like that we don't say. Generally, that's not a right usage, because yoga of food sounds a bit odd. So yoga of food means what? He does dhyanam of food or what? No, he or she is careful about food intake, because food is very important, and so quantity and quality. We talked about it before, and so he's reminding us here again, aharaha. And if we say aharaha, suddenly at least a few of you should say, wait a minute, in Bhagavad Gita, we have seen the word ahara before. Okay. You should show your faces. You should look and so now question, where did we see ahara? Okay. Um, apare niyatahara. Like that we saw. I think that was fourth chapter, was it not? Huh? Apare niyatahara. Fourth chapter, yeah. Apare niyatahara. Then what? We need to go back. This is how we should connect. Yeah, there you go. 430. Apare 30, 30, if you want to look up. Apare niyataharaha pranan praneshu juhvati sarvepyete yajna vidaha yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Another also I can recall now. Okay. Where else? We saw aharaha. See, aharaha means what? Ahriyate iti ahara. So whatever goes in is ahara. Whatever goes in. So physically only food goes in. But then all sense organs are open. And a lot of data is going inside the body, inside the mind. Okay. Therefore, ahara means anything. All sense objects are also called aharaha. And in that context, we saw in shloka number 259. 59. Look up 259. And let's look at that. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Yeah. Seems like long, long ago. Once upon a time we studied chapter 2, right? So like that it has become now. So there what happened? Vishaya vinivartante. Vishayaha. Vishayaha. Look at that. Vishaya means what? Sense objects. All objects, essentially all objects of this world, which are objects of our senses. And so, vinivartante niraharasya dehina. So, for that person who is a nirahara, nirahara means one who has mastered one's senses, then no object can enter without the person's permission. Means no object can affect the person. That is the mean. Entering means what? Just because I saw something doesn't mean I am affected by it. I am taken away by it and carried away by it. So Vishayaha vinivartante. They return like an uninvited guest. Just return. And niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya, etc. We saw that last time. So that's what comes to my mind right now. Aharaha. So here ahara means literally food. Okay, food, annam. And does Shankara say anything? He says annam. So ahriyate iti aharaha. He defines the word aharaha. That which is consumed is called aharaha. And he says annam. Okay, he says annam. So he is making it quite clear. This has to do with food only. Okay. Okay, so that we've seen before, not the previous shloka. So not na ati anashnataha tu, etc. We saw in the last shloka. Then vihara will come back in a minute. Then yukta cheshtasya. So first word is what? Yuktaharaha. Yuktaharaha. One who is balanced in food. When it comes to food, one who is balanced, one who knows one's limits, one who knows what's good, what's not good, etc. That person is a yuktaharaha. Okay. Then yukta cheshtaha. You need to see that. Yukta cheshtaha. Cheshta. Cheshta, literally cheshta. The word cheshta is used when it comes to some kind of mischief, when it comes to actions that we don't expect. Those kinds of things are called cheshtas. Cheshta, movement. Constant movement is called cheshta. But here cheshta means the entire day's activity. Day's activity. What are we doing? Every day we do certain things. From morning to evening to night. Certain things. And we take care of ourselves. We then do some cooking, etc. Then we go to work and then come back and then take care of children and then schooling, this, that, all that goes on. And then, so all this a typical day in our life. whatever constitutes that is called cheshta. Okay, so that person when he does all these activities, uh, yuktaha, yuktaha. Again, yuktaha means moderate, balanced, awareful, conscious, deliberate. Okay, so doesn't react, responds to situations. All that we have to bring in this word yukta cheshtaha. Okay, and so when I am 30 years old and I just got a job, I've been working for some 5 years, etc. That is a type of lifestyle. Before that, 25 years old, 23, 20 years old, going to college, just graduated, one type of lifestyle is there. 30 years, maybe married, 35, married, different type of lifestyle. Lifestyle changes. So there, the married person cannot behave like a bachelor, and as though there's nobody in the house. So that won't work. That is why a lot of marriages fail, because this fellow hasn't adjusted yet. He still thinks he's a bachelor, just come whenever you want, go whenever you want, and then invite people. Come on, guys, and then without telling the family spouse, hey, she says, come on. What is this? What do you mean, come on? You didn't tell me, come on. So far, we have been married 3 years, 5 years. You have not said, come on, and to me. And now you are telling all your friends, come on, come on. This won't work like that. So, yukta cheshta. So you need to know. We need to change with our stage in life. And then what? Then 40, 50, like that goes. Then children are there. Children are there, part of the life. They also need our attention. And constantly looking at WhatsApp. Children also, children either go to school or come at home, they are doing online classes. So convenient online. They put everybody online, and I am also online. I have no classes, but I'm still online. Okay, so this is how it has become. And so some balance has to be there. Am I living in a house or am I living in a home? This becomes a question now, big question. Everybody lives in a house, but how many live in a home? That is the question. And so everybody's coming in and going out at any time, some whatever time, nobody knows what happened. Where is Vikram? I don't know. I don't know where he is. So we don't even know whether the person is at home or not. That is how it is. So we have to text, Vikram, are you at home? And then after 2 minutes, one message will come, or 5 minutes. No, mom, I'm not at home. So that's how it is. So no, we need to have some balance, some awareness has to be there. What's going on? Minimum awareness has to be there. And then further 50 years, 60 years, etc. Then by then some Gita classes we should have attended, Upanishad classes and all, some words should have gone into our heads, so that by 60 there is something that's clicking. Yeah, I think these things make a difference in our lives. I need to spend a little more time, and satsangs are happening, and so I participate in those satsangs, and so I get ready. And of course, waiting for 60 is not a good thing, but idea here is that we begin to balance. Our priorities change. Okay, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, with respect to actions, activities, the person's uh, performance of those activities is balanced, has a sense of priority. Priorities change, correct? Priorities should change with time, correct? Suddenly a child is born. Suddenly the couple has no children so far. Suddenly a child is there. Priority suddenly shifts. Overnight it shifts, correct? And so this is shifting of priority appropriately. That is called yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Okay, that is one way to say it. Then afterwards, of course, by the time we are 50, 60 and all, we should begin thinking about life and what is the purpose of life, what are purusharthas, what is moksha. My culture talks so much about moksha. I have no idea about what it is. I better come to know. So all these things, the whole priority starts shifting. I give more and more time to my shastra. Swadhyaya pravachanabhyan pramaditavyam. So Shastram cautions us, don't be indifferent to the Shastram. Like that, it says in Taittiriya Upanishad. So this is called Yukta Cheshtaha Karmasu. Okay, Karmasu. With respect to activities, one who is balanced, one who has a sense of proportion, one who does things awarefully, one who doesn't do things for the sake of doing, that kind of lifestyle, awareful lifestyle is called, is referred to here. Okay, now yuktahara viharasya. So viharaha means also activity, but a different kind of activity. So the relaxation, entertainment, running, walking, those kinds of activities where the body is given to relaxation. And so after all the chesta we have done throughout the day, then we need to relax. Some entertainment is needed. So there also he says, Yukta Viharaha. Don't get lost. Don't get lost in the entertainment. Don't get lost. Exercise also. Exercise is very good for you and must be done, but then don't get lost. Don't get lost. And this it becomes a fad. Some people just spend so much time in jogging or running or yoga asana, whatever it is, pranayama, 3 hours, 4 hours, and all that. No, our body is not meant to do pranayama for so many hours. Yes, there are so many other things to do. And so, and we saw this news a couple of days ago. I think many of you know this, Karnataka. So Puneet Rajkumar. How many have heard of Puneet Rajkumar? Yeah, so more than half of you are aware of this news. So we had a very famous actor in Karnataka called Rajkumar. And so that person, Rajkumar ji passed away some years ago. And then his son was 46 years ago, Puneet. I didn't hear much about, outside Karnataka, I don't think we hear much about him. And so he was apparently a popular man, and he's also acted in movies and all that. Maybe he directed movies also. But 46 years old, and this man he does this high intensity workouts. And I looked up all these things. And it's a high intensity interval training, HIIT. It's called HIIT. And that video, you look at the video of Puneet Rajkumar, and he's doing all this workouts and jumping and lifting one leg and lifting other leg and kicking and boxing and punching. All this entire 9 yards is there in the 5 minutes video. Okay. Then I understand why he died. Because this fellow is doing it twice a day also sometimes. And they say the body, when you do this kind of high intensity workout, the heart has to work harder. That there is this maximum target heart rate and all that, and how much of that, what percentage of that you must maintain. All these rules are all there. So this person, and the heart is pumping more faster, and then it seems the heart starts adapting to that, and then the walls thicken and the heart enlarges. Okay, all these modifications happen, and there is something called athlete's heart that may be okay, but this high intensity, and this person got a heart attack. Can you believe this? This is what it is, balance. That is why yogasanas and all are a big blessing for humanity itself. Because no jumping up and down and all. This all this too much rajas and kicking, boxing, punching. These things don't apply in our culture. They don't exist. That's all. Yogasana. You try to do yogasana. You want to kick and punch. First stand on your leg. I mean, stand on your head. Then we will see. Then we'll talk about kicking and punching. Okay. So that's the challenge we give to people. And so yukta viharaha. Look at that. You have to be a yukta viharaha. You have to be balanced. And the extremes in America, they are very good at it. These are all fashion based. Somebody says high 80% protein diet. high protein diet to maintain good health. I don't know how these people survive this kind of a constantly changing also. Every 2 years, new fashion. Bikram yoga. How many of you have heard of Bikram yoga? Yeah, these fellows, I tell you, and then everybody rush because everybody wants something new. They all got bored. Pilates, something like that. And then do Pilates. And then that gets boring after some. Then Jenny, long ago there was Jenny yoga. And she was a big sensation. I think now she's gone because it's all old fashioned. Yoga and all old fashioned. And then yoga, of course, big multi-trillion dollar business. And then I wonder if yoga is going to go. I think it'll go out of fashion in America because America cannot stand anything for a long time. It'll all go away. That that's my prediction. We need to see. Nothing stays. So obsession about something. It's called ayuktaha. Ayukta viharaha means person who is obsessed about something or just ignores exercise completely, does not know how to relax at all. Okay, and somebody told me the other day, "Hey Kumar, you're working hard. You must relax also sometimes." They said. I said, "Yeah, I think you're right. I should also learn to relax." I said. So I told myself, am I really stressing myself out? And the person felt they should tell me this. I don't know what made him say that. And so So we have to balance is very important. We love the work we do. It's excellent. If we love it, that's great. And work doesn't stress anybody out. There's something in work that stresses us out. Some relationship is a problem, and lack of acknowledgement, lack of recognition. All these things can be problem. Competition and pressure to accomplish more and more. Even though I love to do what I do, these kinds cause stress. Work never causes anybody any stress. So anyway, yuktaharaha, yukta viharaha, yukta cheshtaha karmasu. Then yukta swapnaha, yukta swapna, yukta avabodhaha. So now you can guess sleep. We have already seen it. Moderate sleep. Swapna means sleep. Avabodha means waking hours. Waking hours. So one who is balanced with respect to sleep and waking. And we saw that in the last shloka also. Na ati swapna shilasya jagrato naiva charjana. We saw that in the 16th shloka. So here also swapna and avabodha. This one. So that is why there are no specific rules for all this. Set rules are not there. How many hours you should sleep? In America, they will give rules for everything. They will put all numbers. The people want numbers. Tell me a number. They want numbers. If you don't give me numbers, then you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that's the idea. No, Krishna doesn't give us any numbers. Then listen to your body. That is what he's saying. Listen to the body. And listen to the body means somebody complains. Somebody says, "What is this, Guruji? You're telling me listen to the body." Morning, I get up, I go to work, and then till 6 o'clock, I'm listening to my boss. Okay. Then after I come home, I have to listen to my wife. Okay. And then it's night time, we go to sleep. And then there's no time to listen to the body. Like that, he complains. Now, what should I tell to that person? I don't know. So listen to the body means you have to be constantly listening to your body. So some back pain and all comes, then we have to pay attention to the back pain. And the back pain, we don't pay attention until it becomes chronic. And then we go to the doctor, unbearable pain. And the doctor says this therapy and for 7 times a week, every day therapy and this, that, and we end up spending a lot of money on all these things. And so, therapists also need some business, right? So we're all very holistic minded. We think very holistically. If I don't go to the hospital at all, how will the doctor make money? That we are very concerned about the world. That's why we do certain things. So that's what yuktaha means. So much is involved in that. We have to pay attention, seeking help when we need help, not procrastinating. All that has to be brought in here. And so Okay. So with that said, Yukta Swapna, Yukta Avadbodaha, okay, Tasya, of that person, Yogaha Bhavati Dukkhaha. So for that person who is balanced, who has a sense of proportion, who is awareful, who is conscious, who is alert in one's life with respect to all these activities, like sleep. I mean, Krishna has come down to this also. He has to tell us how to be, be careful, get your required amount of sleep. He doesn't say keep awake and then all that. He doesn't say. He just says be balanced. And for that person, he says yogaha bhavati dukkhaha. Yogaha here in context, dhyana yogaha, dhyanam bhavati. Dhyanam becomes becomes what? Becomes dukkhaha. Dukkha means sorrow, agony, suffering. Ha means destroyer of, remover of. Dhyanam becomes the remover of sorrow, like that Krishna say. Dukkha. So dukkhahan for Sanskrit students. Han nakaranta pullingam. Dukkhahan. So dukkha, dukkhanau, dukkahanaha, dukkhanam, dukkhanau, dukkhagna, like that it goes. So anyway, destroyer of sorrow. So I read a psychology book, and there the author, I don't remember if it was John Bradshaw or this Harvey Runson, he says discipline is a way to minimize agony, to minimize suffering. That is what it is. I mean, it's a nice definition. I still remember that. Minimize suffering. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes of workout, exercise, etc. Running, jogging, soft running, etc. All that a way to minimize suffering. I like that. So that is discipline, because discipline also takes effort. And getting up in the morning is a problem, and getting some exercise, there is no time. And if I do exercise, then within 5 minutes my body is just panting, so there is also a problem. So I don't. So all these things are there. And so minimum amount of exercises are needed. And of course, this yogaha bhavati dukkhaha, and remover of sorrow. So of course, must be balanced. Only that. So something is good means doesn't you don't keep on taking that. That's what moderation means. So somebody says amla juice. I get up in the morning, drink amla juice. Okay, that maybe it's good for you. Drink it. But then whenever I'm thirsty, I drink only amla juice. I carry a bottle of amla juice with me. Okay. Then I don't know. Our doctors should tell whether that is good for us or not. And amla juice. Otherwise, watermelon juice. So people drink all kinds of things, which is good. I think they should. But green tea means 10 times a day green tea. So I don't know, and we have to look into whether it's good or not for the body. And alfalfa, all these things are there. So do what's good for you. Don't overdo anything. That is the idea. If you do that, Krishna promises that yoga, that lifestyle. With that lifestyle, when somebody does dhyanam, then that dhyanam is sure to be a dukkha, means sure to remove sorrow, like that it says here. Okay. And so yeah. So here Kalidasa, Swamiji quotes Kalidasa. Kalidasa's Kumara Sambhavam. Kumara Sambhavam is a play that is written by Kalidasa, which talks about the birth of Murugan, Subramanian, not Kartikeya. So, and to Shiva and all that thing. There's a nice, beautiful story there. And his marriage to Valli and Devasena, etc. And so there, in between, somewhere in the fifth canto, Kalidasa says, Shariram Adhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. Shariram Dharma Sadhanam. Shariram is a means, body is a means for something. You need to ask, what is the body meant for? Body is not an end in itself. And so you need some good health in order to do whatever is to be done. So the dharma is important. And so for following dharma, I need to have a proper body and mind. And so everything becomes a means for me. Pranayama, yoga, asana, ahara, everything becomes a means for me. It is not an end in itself. If I take it as an end in itself, then my whole life will just look different, and sense of proportion gets lost. So this means and ends we must be constantly aware of. And dharma also becomes a means for moksha. I must begin to see that. So even dharma is not an end in itself. Like that, we begin to understand. Okay. So let's look at this shloka. For one who is moderate in eating, for one who is moderate in eating and other activities, comma, who is mindful in all activities, comma, and to one's sleeping and waking hours, and to one's sleeping and waking hours, comma, dhyanam becomes a destroyer of sorrow. Dhyanam becomes a destroyer of sorrow. So for one who is moderate in eating and other activities, comma, who is mindful in all activities, and to one's sleeping and waking hours, dhyanam becomes the destroyer of sorrow. Meditation becomes the destroyer of sorrow. Okay. Priya. यदा विनियतं चित्तम्
यदा विनियतं चित्तम्
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः
युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा.
युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा.
यदा विनियतं चित्तम्
यदा विनियतं चित्तम्
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः
युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा.
युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा.
So some of you are not chanting, so they're looking at the screen though. That means they're probably doing something else. Multitasking it's called. So multitasking, good, no? Bhagavad Gita class, periodically we must check WhatsApp so that when the class is over, I'm not facing some 100 WhatsApp messages. We're always trying to catch up and keep ahead of things. Okay, anyway. Yada tada. See here, verse number 18. Okay, just background here. So until now, Bahiranga Sadhanam and Antaranga Sadhanam. Okay, this chapter will have 3 or 4 things here. What are the things it will have? Bahiranga Sadhanam, general disciplines. Antaranga Sadhanam, disciplines related to Dhyanam. Okay, practices, habits, how to sit, how to, what are the preparatory steps to Dhyanam. Okay. Third one, what is Dhyanam? What is the nature of Dhyanam? Description of Dhyanam. He has not talked much about that. Okay. this verse number 18 onwards is going to talk about Dhyana Swarupam. Dhyana Swarupam means, what is meditation? Tell me a little more. You told me about how to prepare myself for meditation, but what is it? Tell me a little more. That is the meaning of Dhyana Swarupam. And then periodically you will see Dhyana Phalam also. What is the result of meditation? What do I get out of it? What are the benefits? Dhyana Phalam will be there. Okay. So now this particular shloka, everything is not necessarily in a particular order, and there will be mix up here and there. And so this particular shloka is Dhyana Swarupam. What is Dhyanam? More about Dhyanam, the nature of Dhyanam, etc. Okay. Now look at this. Yada and then Tada. Okay. Now, before I do this, yeah, maybe I'll talk about Ashtanga Yoga another time. Let's go with this. Yada Tada. Okay, we know that. So Yada, the first word is Yada, the last word is Tada. When, then. Okay, in English, then cannot be a last word of a sentence. Then cannot, when while talking we can say then and all. We can put words wherever we want, but okay. So then, so here, but in Sanskrit we have all kinds of licenses. So Tada. Okay. Therefore, when, then. We need to see when what, then what. Okay. Yada chittam viniyatam. Yada chittam viniyatam. Chittam. Chittam here is mind. Mind is chittam. Yada, when the mind is niyataha. Niyataha. When the mind is mastered in this manner, in the manner that Krishna has been describing, when the mind is mastered, then when the mind is, in this case, dhyanam, so when the mind is focused, steady during this dhyanam, then atmani eva avatisthate. Atmani eva chittam avatisthate. That is what is being said here. So the mind remains in Atma. That is a literal translation. The mind remains in Atma. So mind is always an Atma. Everything is an Atma anyway. So mind is always an Atma. Means what? The mind is not moving around. And most of the time, my mind is on Anatma, on so many things, and then taking this name and form and things as Satyam, as real. Okay. But now, thanks to Dhyanam, thanks to the Shastra Shravanam and Dhyanam, now I'm contemplating and doing Dhyanam, I'm doing meditation. And then my mind is focused either in Saguna Brahma or in Nirguna Brahma. Correct? And so, which should take me to a point where I am very clear about Satyam, about Atma. The mind has clarity about Atma. Full clarity, no doubt at all. Whatever doubts I have, by Shravanam and Mananam, they have gone. And then now it is well assimilated, and I have Nishtha, I have Jnana Nishtha. That is the meaning. Chittam Atmani Avatisthate. Okay. And another meaning is what? The mind has been focusing on something, but now there is even the focus is gone. Means there is no thing that I am thinking about anymore. The mind is resolved, as it were. Okay, because the mind, there are no thoughts. When there are no thoughts, what happens? There is no mind, there is no object of meditation also. It is as though I am not even meditating. Correct? So that dhyata, dhyeya, dhyanam, that triputi, that division, I am the meditator, I am meditating on Sri Krishna, and then that whole process is called dhyanam. Dhyata, the meditator, dhyayaha, Sri Krishna, and the process of meditation called dhyanam. This threefold division that ceases to exist. It's possible. It's possible. How do we know it's possible? Well, even when you're watching a sitcom, when you have so many things to do tomorrow, and then tonight you're watching a sitcom, you're watching a comedy show, and the minute you laugh your heart out, you know what? At that moment, there is no, you are full and you are complete and you are free. Can I make that statement? You're full because, hey, tomorrow is going to be a stressful day. If tomorrow is going to be a stressful day, how could you laugh like this? And how could you forget all your problems? You saw your child and the baby just did something and then smiled at you. And then you smile at the baby and then everything finds, the whole world just ceases to exist. And there are no more problems. And you bring a lot of joy in my life. Why do you say that? Well, because that is it. That at that point, all divisions cease to exist. Chittam Atmani Avatishtate. So all divisions cease. Divisions can cease only when there are really no divisions. If there are really divisions, divisions cannot cease. Correct? If a division is Satyam, then it is Satyam. It is always going to stay. And if nothing can be removed, they're all permanent. And so that is another way to look at this. And then this dhyanam, I started to do dhyanam, but now there is no dhyanam also. That is also possible. No dhyanam is there. I am there. I am. I exist. That's all. That is also possible. Initially, I am doing dhyanam, but the end of dhyanam is no dhyanam. Correct? So, chittam atmani avatishthate. So, comes from clarity. Of course, experience is one thing. So, without any knowledge also, I can get a state. Remember, state. State is an experience. This jhata, dhyanam, jaya, triputi resolution can happen even without knowledge. Correct? For that, we just have to learn how to do dhyanam. And then that dhyanam, that state can lead us to that advanced state of nirvikalpa samadhi. So that's why we say nirvikalpa samadhi cannot be moksha. It is a state where the division ceases to exist, or divisions cease to exist. And but here, knowledge, we need to bring knowledge in. And so that division really does not exist. Whether I am meditating or not meditating, there is no division at all. That only knowledge can give. Correct? I have to do dhyanam in order to recognize this fact about this world and myself and Ishvara. There is no real difference. Vyomavad vyapta dehaya dakshina murtaye namaha. Ishvaro guru ratmeti. Correct? And so that Vyomavad vyapta deha. So that whole Jagat, the universe, which is all Atma, I have divided it into so many things. And also people into Guru, Ishvara, Guru, Atma. Ishvara is there and Atma, I am here. And then Guru is there in front of me. So all these are all divisions. Correct? And so that Atmani avatishthate. And then look at this. Nispraha sarva kamebhyaha yuktaha iti uchyate tada. That is the way to split that. Yuktaha iti uchyate. Okay, tada. And the previous line, how did we split? Yada viniyatam chittam atmani eva avatishthate. So many words there, 4 words are there in that. Chittam atmani eva avatishthate. And in the second line, iti anuchyate. Nispraha sarvakamebhya. Okay. So nispraha. Okay. So what does Shankara say? Look at this. Sarva kamebhyaha nisprihaha. Spriha means an attachment. Okay. A pining, a binding desire is called sprihaha. Let's see what Shankara says. Drishta adrishta vishayebhyaha spriha trishna nirgata. Like that it says. Let me explain that. Yes, yeah. Okay. Spriha. Spriha in Sanskrit means trishna. Trishna means a thirst. A thirst is there. An unmet desire that's just pushing me to do something. That is called trishna. Okay. Like I'm thirsty means I need water. So I need this water. Otherwise, my throat gets parched, and after some time, I can't do anything. So that's called trishna. So here trishna, desire for what happened? Okay. Video went off. How did that go? Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Trishna. So spriha, trishna, nirgata, the one from whom, okay, desire for what? This is the question. So sarva kamebhyaha, desire from or desire for all these things. Sarva kamas. Sarva kamas. So you have to ask, what is kama? The word kama, in general, in Sanskrit, these words when it come, in this case, kama refers to either desire itself, okay, either desire itself, or the thing that I am desiring, the object of desire. Both are called kamas. Okay. So here, sarva kamebhyaha, this word kama refers to all objects, all the things that I desire. That object of desire is called kama. Therefore, sarva kamebhyaha. So this must be Panchami Vibhakti. And so sarva kamebhyaha. From all objects, the desire from all objects is gone. That person is called a nisprihaha. And Shankara is saying, he's defining this word kama. Look at that. He's saying, drishta adrishta vishayebhya. This is what he's saying. Vishaya. Vishaya means thing. Vishaya is thing. And any object is called a vishaya. Okay, vishaya in general. And then vishaya, if you say, kya baat hai, kya vishaya hai, means what is the news? You know, tell me some masala. You know, it's been, I need something. Okay, some salt must be there in the food, otherwise it doesn't work. So, kya vishay hai? So that is news. That is different. But there also, vishay means something. You have to tell me something about something new that I don't know. Okay, that's what you should tell me. That's your responsibility for visiting me. That is your responsibility, right? So, what is the news from where you are coming from? And those days, then this whole electronics business communication was not there. When somebody comes home, now I understand the psychology. Now we can't imagine this life, okay? And they would treat them, because you don't see the person, you don't travel also. The person has spent some time to come here. They are going to bring a lot of news, because we don't know anything about that family. Even sister, brother, we don't know what happened, because news doesn't travel at all. Unless somebody walks, news doesn't travel. Somebody has to walk. Even I remember so many years ago, when I was in school, some 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So that time we had a telephone, we had a landline telephone. Those days people did not even have telephones. And we got a call. I got a call from my aunt from some other place, some Madhya Pradesh, that uncle passed away. And then there is another aunt here in Hyderabad where I used to live, and please tell her that. Tell them, communicate this message to them, because they don't have a phone. Okay. So then, and I called my friend, he got his vehicle, and then we went together to 8-9 kilometers. That's how it was. Can you imagine now that kind of life? And within seconds the news will go all over, and amazing it is. So Vishaya, yeah. So anyway, so that that drishta adrishta vishayebhyaha, and so he's saying drishta vishayaha. Drishta vishaya means that which is visible to you, that which you can experience here and now. That is called drishta vishaya. And so the food is drishta vishaya. Any object, a phone is a drishta vishaya. And anything you want later also, a degree, an undergraduate degree, that also is a drishta vishaya. Here and now, I need it, I want it, I have it, all those things are drishta vishaya. Shankara adds adrishta vishayebhyaha, because afterlife is there, punyam is there, papam is there, all those are adrishta, and I want punyam. I lead a dharmic life, so I can get punyam. I can get punyam. What is punyam? Punyam is like currency, like your rupee note or a dollar bill. Okay, and it's currency. It's useless unless you actually put it to use. Correct. That is why this mad rush is there. Money is there in the bank, but then it loses value. Inflation. There's all these problems people worry about. We have created such a mess. It just keeps people busy. I just watch and I have fun with all this. Busy means just they just run around. Why? Because that money is not yet put to use, and you don't have to put it to use because it's extra money. Okay, later on, tomorrow I'll spend it. That is the idea, and I'm keeping it for tomorrow. And so tomorrow. So in the process, the money loses value, and so they're constantly working. And so this currency, punya is like that currency. It has no value until you actually use it. Correct? And we think it has value. So that is good to have. I think we'll be sane that way. That's how we can be sane. And so in some countries, inflation, 10,000% inflation. This Argentina, this, that. And so it's crazy life. Vegetables, you have to sell your gold and ornaments to buy vegetables. Very sad life it is. And so currency. So punyam is like currency. I get punyam so that I can encash it later. Right? So adrishta. That is adrishta. Very important. That also is important because it's there. Life is constant and life doesn't end with death. And so punyam is also there. And therefore Shankara brings that drishta adrishta vishayebhyaha. And and then sarva kamebhyaha nispruhaha. And we already saw to some extent, we saw in Tattvabodha, what is adhikaritvam? What are the qualifications for a person to study the Shastram, if at all? Anybody can study. But the fact that you all have been sitting here for 2 years now almost tells me something. What does it tell me? You already have those qualifications. And what are those? Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shama, Dhamadi, Shatka, Sampattihi, and Mumukshutva. These 4 must be there. And so that Vairagyam, I wanted to bring in here. Vairagyam is there. Vairagyam means dispassion. Dispassion towards things that have the potential to attract you. And that may or may not have that much value. That's called Vairagyam. And in Tattvabodha, we studied. So Tattvabodhakara gave a definition for Vairagyam. What did he say? Iha amutra phala bhogeshu ichha rahityam. Some of you might recall that. So ichha rahityam. Ichha rahityam means absence of binding desire. Okay. Towards what? Iha amutra phala bhogeshu. Phala bhogeshu means the experiences, the pleasant experiences that we all seek, pleasant things. Iha means in this world, iha, and then one little small word he adds, amutra. Amutra means elsewhere, in the other worlds also. Because I might say, no, this world is this. I'm not interested. This world is gone. Already pandemic, this, that, Kali Yuga. People invoke all these words. They're very smart. They say Kali Yuga and all that. It seems somebody the other day they were giving me an excuse for not doing something. He says it's Kali Yuga, and I explained to him, wait a minute. Very nice. You know, Kali Yuga. We gave the Kali Yuga excuse, and somebody asked me. Um, this is the question. Good question he asked me. Okay, he called me up and he said, in the previous yugas, even if you think wrong, you gain papa. But now it is Kali Yuga. Therefore, only if you do wrong, you gain papa. But if you think wrong, you do not gain papa. This is the question he asked me. Interesting question, correct? So I had to give him explanation, and the explanation is: look, papa does not change with yuga. It cannot change with yuga. Then afterwards, then from Kali Yuga, we will go to another yuga. We will invent a new yuga, and where some things are not papa. Okay, and like that we will go off. So we cannot say. So I asked him, are we doing papa karma because of Kali Yuga, or is it Kali Yuga because we are doing papa karma? What is the cause? What is the effect? I think he got that after that. And so Vairagyam and so Iha Amutra, that is why I said Amutra means elsewhere also. Amutra means heaven, etc. All these lokas that I want to go. So he says, I don't desire anything here, this world. Yeah, that's why I went there. So this world is all messed up, and I think I can't expect anything more from this world. But I'm going to wait. So I'm going to plan for my trip to heaven. Okay, and here they say, Iha Amutra also includes everything, whatever worlds you have in your mind, Brahmaloka, Indraloka, and all that you put, and any desire for that must go away, he says. Binding desire must go away. So very interesting. Anyway, we'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.